Have you ever experienced an extremely devastating situation that almost broke you? How did you get through it? Tough, right? It's a common saying that the strongest people are not those who have no problems, but those who manage to survive and even thrive in the midst of those problems. Couldn't we say the same about our world today? Looking through history, our world has thrived through a host of turmoil ranging from earthquakes to tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, and a host of other disasters that have had the potency to destroy it. But here we are. We know that it might be difficult to picture and adequately applaud all that this planet has been through. If that's you, don't worry, as we're here to take you through the top 10 natural disasters in world history. By the end of this video, you'll understand what all the fuss is about, and you'll begin to appreciate even the very earth you walk on. Let's get right into it. Number 10. The 2010 Haiti Earthquake. January 12, 2010 was a devastating day for the country of Haiti. The land was hit by an earthquake so terrible that estimating the casualties proved a grueling task. It was at first reported that 230,000, but was adjusted to 316,000 about a year later. Although a few other studies gave much lower estimates, the extent of variability in these figures told one story. That earthquake was indeed a difficult one. So difficult that nations struggled to find a common ground in the estimates of the number of casualties. However, Haiti survived. Although it's reported that some structures have never remained the same since the quake struck, the recovery has been estimated at almost 90%. Now that is resilience. Number 9. Cyclone Die 2019. Cyclone Die was a Category 2 storm that hit the city of Beira, Mozambique in 2019. There were strong winds, heavy downpours, flash flooding, massive destruction of crops, property, and loss of lives. As if that was not enough, a couple of weeks later, Cyclone Kenneth came running through the country. It was a very catastrophic time for the country of Mozambique. About 2.2 million people were affected. But guess what? The country thrived through it. The recovery was slow and persistent, and today, the nation of Mozambique looks almost untouched by such a huge disaster. Isn't it just beautiful how our world is able to pop and jump right out of difficult and seemingly impossible happenings? It takes a while most of the time, but very soon after, we see our world bubbling with fresh life once again. Number 8. The Sulawesi Earthquake and Tsunami. Another remarkable experience was in 2018 when the Minahasa Peninsula, Indonesia, was badly hit by a large earthquake, with a tsunami warning following soon after. The earthquake was reported to have a magnitude of 7.5, with effects spread from 77 kilometers away from Palu to far-off Samarinda. It was huge. Again, as if the earthquake had not wreaked enough havoc already, a tsunami estimated at 47 meters was provoked, which, together with the earthquake, swept away more than 4,300 people. The aftermath of all that wasn't any better. Submersion of houses and missing people due to soil liquefaction. As terribly devastating as that sounds, the little town was able to recover, though quite slowly, from the loss that threatened its productivity. Number 7. Hurricane Maria 2007. This one was a tough hit on Dominica, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands in 2017. The hurricane was initially projected to be Category 1, but as it progressed, it continued to gather intensity until it got to a Category 5 hurricane. It destroyed a ton of buildings and a number of lives were reported to have been lost too. Major businesses incurred magnificent losses in this event, including schools, wholesale, and retail outlets. The losses were estimated at over $90 billion in Puerto Rico alone, a very devastating situation indeed. It took quite a while for the islands to recover from this major hit, which followed closely after Hurricane Irma had wrecked the Leeward Islands. This made recovery efforts almost futile and very slow. The hurricane had begun as a tropical wave, progressed to a tropical storm, and then a Cat 5 hurricane before hitting Dominica on September 18, 2017. By the time it got to Puerto Rico on September 20th, it had weakened to a Cat 4 hurricane. It further weakened to a tropical storm on the 28th of September and dissipated completely on the 2nd of October. The result of all these was quite remarkable. Flooding, uprooted trees, damaged houses, and electrical blackouts that lasted months. School students had to be moved to other campuses and given aids to sustain them for the rest of the school session. Number 6. 2016 Ecuador Earthquake. 16th of April 2016 is a day to remember in the history books of Ecuador. It was the day when the land was hit by a disaster that led to approximately 700 deaths, 6,000 injured individuals, and irreparable damages to homes, schools, and infrastructures. What was this calamitous situation? An unswerving 7.8 magnitude earthquake. No such earthquake had hit the land since 1987, so, of course, the land was not prepared for it. The disaster left over 700,000 people in vulnerable positions and damaged the homes of over 350,000 people. Sanitation, water, and healthcare facilities were not left out. They were shattered completely, leaving the people stranded and needy. The provinces that received the worst hit were Esmeraldas, Manabí, Santo Domingo, Santa Elena, Guayas, and Los Rios. Side note, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. Alright, now let's get back to it. Number 5. 2015 Nepal Earthquake. In 2015 precisely, on the 25th of April, an earthquake with a reported magnitude of 7.8 hit the little country of Nepal. Reported as one of the worst disasters of the world, the disaster exhaustively damaged numerous multi-story buildings, created avalanches and landslides, but it didn't stop there. It claimed over 9,000 lives and left over 22,000 people severely injured. Nature really did not take it easy on Nepal. Soon after, before the land could recover from the losses incurred from the earthquake and its aftershocks, another 7.3 magnitude tremor struck. In effect, multiples of people were left homeless, schools, health clinics, and other business organizations were crumbled and suffered tremendous losses, especially in remote, rural areas, making rescue and revival an excruciatingly difficult task. Number 4. 2014 Lujian Earthquake. Yunnan, Lujian County, China was not left behind in the spread of distressing events. On August 3, 2014, a 6.1 magnitude earthquake hit the area, leaving 617 dead, 2,400 injured, and a couple of people missing. Let's go a bit further down memory lane and explore old but notable traumatic events from the past. Number 3. The 1138 AD Aleppo Earthquake. The Syrian city of Aleppo has ground that sits on the confluence of the Arabian and African plates, making it prone to earthquakes. A particularly aggressive earthquake hit the land on the 11th of October, 1138. The quake led to the collapse of numerous buildings across the city, including the city's citadel. The number of deaths were estimated at 230,000, with an innumerable number of injuries and missing individuals, and the probability of an underestimated death toll. Number 2. The 526 AD Antioch Earthquake. It's a terrible thing for a nation to experience an earthquake, but what's more terrible than that is for a nation to experience this quake during a festival period. Oh, and even worse, a religious festival. Sweet moments turn sour, and the cheerful bustle of festivity is replaced by a humdrum melancholy. Such was the fate of Antioch City in 526 AD, during the Festival of Ascension, a festival that was to mark the ascension of Jesus Christ into the heavenly realms. The death toll was remarkably increased due to the presence of tourists who had steamed in their numbers to celebrate the festival with their brothers and sisters in the faith. Due to this unsolicited interruption to such a sacred feast, the earthquake was attributed to the wrath of God. It was a rather hostile earthquake, claiming approximately 250,000 lives. It was also reported that a fire ensued a while after and consumed everything the quake had spared. How distressing! And number 1, the 1887 Yellow River Flood. In China, the Yellow River, known as Huanghe, had been contained by dams built around it. However, in 1887, the area was visited by heavy rains which caused the river to swell and spill over the dams into the neighboring low-lying lands up to 5,000 square miles. Numerous people, amounting to about 2 million, lost their lives in this disaster. A natural disaster has never been the end of the world for these nations, and never will be. This is just a snapshot of a few devastating disasters that the world has pulled through, and there's tons more. And yes, there will definitely be much more in the years to come. We know, bad news, but this is the reality. However, another reality is that the Earth has the track record of bouncing back from every storm, turmoil, torrential downpour, tsunami, earthquake, hurricane, and you name it. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video. We hope you liked it. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. Also, comment below of what you think was the most devastating natural disaster. See you later.